why people do these things. So when you're confused about our elected officials and why they get in line, Jonathan Greenblatt will always explain why this is the way that it is.
I have worked with the prior education secretary, and I've worked with this education secretary. And I credit the Biden administration for their national strategy to counter anti-Semitism, a really important document. No one had done what the Biden administration had done before in elevating anti-Semitism to a federal priority. And ADL, in full disclosure, worked with them on that. And
that's so, full disclosure. Thank you. Thank you for your, your transparency, sir.
You want people to know that you are actually dictating policy, that your overfunded NGO that pays you almost $1 million a year to spew your bullshit is
it is bullshit. And it is bullshit.
And actually dictating policy, which is incredible. When you really get right down to it, this bald-headed jabroni is actually dictating policy. And it's all through fear and power politics because he has an unlimited piggy bank. And if he feels that he has to go and do certain things, again, doing this with a genocide as a backdrop. We don't want anybody speaking up. We want everybody on board with what we're doing, which is why it's very important in the first half of this clip that you understand how highly Jonathan Greenblatt thinks of the Biden administration. We have to constantly remind not just our audience, but the viewership at large. It doesn't matter that Trump is in the White House. In fact, it's actually better that Trump is in the White House because he casts a very big spotlight on this very bad issue.
He's gross. I cannot with him.
You think for 1 second if Kamala was in there right now that almost the exact same shit would be going on? Of course it would.
There are some things that, overall that I do think would be different, but not regarding what he's talking about.
No. And mind you, Alligator Alcatraz was built before Trump got there. Just
absolutely. Now, whether or not there would be this huge surge with ICE and they would be rounding up people in the manner in which they're doing it, that I don't know. But make no mistake, we'd be on our exact same trajectory.
Well, remember, they deported a hell of a lot more people under Biden than they did under Trump. They just kept it quiet. They just kept it quiet. That's all. Remember, guys, blue team, red team.
They get a lot of credit for adopting the plan. And then I give credit to the Trump administration for actually implementing aspects of the plan and taking a strong view, again, in the face of real, not imagined, real acts of hate, real acts of discrimination.
No, nobody ever pushes back. What are those acts? To what acts are you referring? Because he's not talking about acts. He's talking about speech, and he's talking about anti-Zionist, anti-Israel speech. And so I want to know what the acts are, and nobody ever pushes back. Well, again, I am so frustrated with people wanting to shut down hate speech. I stand with people that want to be hateful. You want to speak hateful? Please speak hatefully. Why do we have a problem with what people say?
Oh, I have no problem with it. In fact, I would have, again, this is the whole thing about the person in Aventura. This is the whole thing about all these guys. They're all just a bunch of little bitches that have led very protected lives in insulated bubbles.
They don't like feeling uncomfortable, and I don't care about their discomfort. And the thing is that even if, again, I'm allowed to hate whoever I want. I'm allowed to say mean, hateful things about whoever I want. I hate this guy. I think that Jonathan Greenblatt's a complete piece of shit. How's that for hate speech?
And he ain't no Mr. Clean, that's for sure. He's Mr. Genocide.
And he's a lying
Again, we helped to write the national strategy to counter anti-Semitism, released by the Biden administration. We were deeply involved in that. We are working as well with the Trump administration. This is what we do.
This is what we do.
That is what we do. Red team, blue team, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is perception. That's it.
He's so infuriating. He's so infuriating. Long before October 7th of 23, long before that. People need to be aware that the ADL has always been a front group for the Zionist agenda. That's their goal. That's their plan. And they've hide it under the guise of fighting anti-Semitism. That is why everybody for so many generations have been conditioned to think that saying something against Israel is anti-Semitic, because that's what his group's life work has been. They're the propaganda arm in that regard. And make no mistake, they are not about anti-Semitism. They don't give a shit about anti-Semitism. And most of the cases that they reference that are cases of anti-Semitism are not cases of actual anti-Semitism. And that's been going on since long before October 7th.
And that's where the Jewish stereotype comes into play. They only care about money and power. That's it. There is no real agenda here. They just happen to have a substantial amount of control over the levers of power. And how do we know this? Again, Governor Sarah Huckabee takes a trip to Israel.
Well, a whole bunch of people just went to Israel. The whole bunch of Congress people just went on a nice little, delegation. I love how they called it delegation.
Colin, can you pull up some of these pictures, please? Yeah, she looks so thrilled. And especially that next one. I don't know who this guy is that she's sitting next to, Jen, but there's
That's Smotrich.
I bet is that small? Yeah, it is.
Smotrich.
I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah.
This image right here, I mean, honestly, this is such an unholy image, if there ever was.
He's one of the most evil he is.
Him and Gavir, the two of them.
They're very evil. This is, that's horrifying. Now all you need is her dad to just sort of do a, photo bomb right there.
Now I want you to keep this image up, Colin, because I want to educate the crowd if they don't know this already. This is important stuff. So, state of Arkansas. State of Arkansas. What can we share with our wonderful audience about the state of Arkansas? Well, it is the third poorest state in the country, ranked 48th. It is ranked 48th in crime and corrections, which means they probably have a lot of for-profit prisons there. It's ranked 47th in healthcare. It is ranked 41st in education, although I believe that is debatable in terms of what the actual number is. 46% of the population of Arkansas identifies as evangelical Christian.
Well, so then she is justly representing her people in a psychotic fashion.
Not only that, you're talking about a state that is a bottom feeder for education, for crime, for healthcare.
Yeah, but so are we.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are we. And we have but except for we're way up there in terms of the money. Again, I get it with states that are poor states being low on the list of stuff. It's when states like Florida that are one of the richest states are low on the list of stuff.
But you know what? The one that really stands out to me in Arkansas, if you guys don't know, Arkansas is actually one of the most beautiful states in the country. The Ozarks.
It is very pretty. I've been there.
However, the state is ranked 35th out of 50 in environmental protection. So a state that actually has real natural beauty, a place that you would think would care a little bit more about something like, I don't know, the air you breathe and the water you drink. This is clearly a state that doesn't care. And the reason it doesn't care is because the governor of Arkansas's father is the ambassador to Israel. This is a family affair of the worst kind. And again, I don't want to pick up the stereotypes about the Deep South.
Well, it's not the Deep South. Arkansas is not the Deep South.
it's a combination of the South and the.
It doesn't matter. These are evangelical Christian people. Mike Huckabee, who is, the ambassador to Israel, doesn't even refer to the geography according to international law's recognized names. So, for example, he doesn't say the West Bank. He calls it Judea and Samaria, like some sort of religious nut job that he is. So we actually have whatever it is, we actually have somebody that is in these positions that do not reference actual geopolitical geography. Like, they don't reference it because it doesn't suit their religious preference to do so. The absurdity of what we are dealing with.
Well, the absurdity of what we're dealing with, again, is also the degree that nepotism controls our political discourse.
Well, nepotism controls everything in this country.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand the name Huckabee goes a long way in a state like Arkansas, where the daughter could just, I don't want to pick on people's looks, but Sarah's the only normal looking person out of that entire bloodline that Mike Huckabee created. So naturally, she's the one who gets to stand at the front of the line. And she became Trump's press secretary, and a lot of people liked her because she was a smart mouth and all of that. But in the end, this is just another career and another opportunity to further drive the wedge. And I ask you, as I would ask everybody, what exactly do her constituents think about this? I mean, are evangelical Christians just completely blind to this relationship? Are they all Christian Zionists? Do they all believe this? Do they all think what she's doing is good? Do they all think that genocide is acceptable? Are they all just...
Yes, Christian evangelical people believe that this is good. This is why, we've talked about this with Casey Malone. This is the whole point, which is why she's been saying that is why they are so much more dangerous.
I mean, they are, but they don't have, they have more voting power. They don't have as much economic power. So
there's so much more, maniacal because it's based on religion. And when it's based on religion, it's by default, de facto, it is without reason. Whereas the other people, it's based on some semblance of reason. We don't agree with it, but it's based on some semblance of reason. When it's religiously based, you can't reason with those people.
No,
that's why, right.
As you've said many a times before, if it is not built on reason, if it is not built on justice, then you're arguing with people that can't think or see straight. They're just not capable. And this is why when we see Zionists in particular in Israel that are interviewed and their bloodlust for Palestinians, again, the only thing that we can control, we cannot control the genocide, but what we can control is whether or not our country continues to facilitate it.